Edward lets himself be defined by what he thinks others think of him, and he has internalized what other people, the reactions of society against him. Uh, that's a very good question, and I don't have a simple answer. The fact is, I don't know. I don't know what holds him back, but I think that you've hit upon something that the film is getting at, which is that Edward lets himself be defined by what he thinks others think of him, and he has internalized what other people, the reactions of society against him, and and you might say that I might see Ingrid and Oswald differently because I think Ingrid may have also internalized what society thinks of her, but that maybe it comes out in a different way because she may have been more supported by, or society's judgment of her may be more positive. I think the question is what makes Oswald able to be comfortable in his own skin, and I don't know the answer to that. I think that it's an open question of whether he is even is comfortable in his own skin, or whether it's a certain defense mechanism, or whether he truly is comfortable. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter because it, it's really, and also it's really Edward's view of Oswald that we're concerned with. Edward is looking at Oswald and seeing that he is living a life that he doesn't feel himself able to. And what is that difference? I don't know, but it's really inspired by I have a cleft palate, and which is uh, it's a disfigurement, but it's on the more minor spectrum of a facial disfigurement. And I've let it sort of control my life in a lot of ways. I feel that it's traumatized me in certain ways and created certain aspects of my personality. So when I first met Adam Pearson, who does appear to be very comfortable in his own skin, it really made me reflect and question my own view of myself and whether I might have lived my life differently. So I couldn't tell you what that difference comes from, but the film is concerned with this difference that you're talking about. I don't know why he makes that choice. It's funny because you mentioned the typewriter. If we look at the typewriter in the film or the hole in the ceiling, for instance, people are often asking me, is this a metaphor? The hole in the ceiling is maybe his state of mind or something, and I don't think in terms of metaphors though. To me, it all came out. I mean, that typewriter in the movie is my typewriter. It was sitting right next to me, and in a lot of ways, I think it came out of my own guilt of having this typewriter that I haven't been using. That I I want to use it, but I'm sitting here on my computer. And this fact that it's this obsolete thing that is that's what started it, and then it became this narrative device. And it was the same with the hole in the ceiling was inspired by a hole I had in my ceiling in New York, which was actually worse than the one in the film. So that's where these things start, and then they become narratively useful. But then when I go back and see the film, I see what you see, which is that it seems to have a symbolic weight, but I'm never totally. It's if it has symbolic weight, it's coming from some part of my subconscious that I'm not really aware of when I'm writing. Um, you know, if I had to choose, I'd say I relate to Edward the most. But the fact is, they say every character is a different side of the person who created them. And so when I, watch the film, I think, well, maybe there are aspects of Ingrid that I'm talking about, and there's also aspects of Oswald that I'm talking about. But I do think one thing that when I'm writing, I deliberately try to be in the dark about my character's motivations. So, I think it's because that makes them more human because we don't know what other people are thinking in our lives, and that's sort of how I try to relate to my characters, that they're acting a certain way, but we don't know what their motivations are. So whether she's in love with Edward or whether she's exploiting Edward or whether she's fearful of Edward or whether she's attracted to Edward, there are different moments in the film where you might believe any of these things, but the fact is you don't know. We don't know, and I don't know, and maybe Renato knows, but I don't know. So, but yeah, I think certainly the struggle to tell these stories is. I can relate to Ingrid in that sense, but I think in my case, I'm writing about my own personal experience. I'm giving it to other actors to perform, but that's where it's coming out of. Whereas I think in the film, Ingrid is really writing about something that she is clearly she's clearly using the situation to her own advantage.
So thank you very much. It seems like my time's up. So again, thank you so much, Aaron.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and I really felt a personal connection to the questions you explored in this film, even this conversation. So
Thank you.
I truly hope we get to talk again on your next project.
Me too. Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
People can be cruel, I imagine.
顔を変えれば人生が変わると思っていた。
Hey, Edward!
Who is he? What do you know about him?
Oswald is one of my favorite people.
理想と現実が反転する不条理スリラー。
Let's just all start being honest with ourselves. What are you thinking, Edward?
顔を捨てた男。